Hey guys, it's Faith Mariah. We're back for Business Power Hour. We have a really great show for you guys today. I am so excited about the panel we have today. We have three powerhouses here that are going to talk to you guys all about business operations, systems, and we're going to get super nerdy, you guys. And I really am passionate about this topic. I was just telling them one of the worst business nightmares I've ever had was when my business really took off and we didn't have any systems in place and I felt like a crazy lunatic. I was super overwhelmed. My business was miserable. I had a VA. This is how bad it was. I had a VA that would log on every day and there was so much going on and it was so disorganized. She would call me up crying almost every day. And the worst thing was that we got so busy, it was like I had money, but we couldn't slow down enough to onboard another person. It felt like we were drowning in the worst way ever. It was one of the worst seasons of my business. So I'm very passionate about this topic. We teach it a lot in the Becoming Boss Mastermind. We have a whole like systems training templates. My business operations manager teaches in there, helping people set up Airtable, Asana, like all that stuff, just to make it easier to run. And so this is a very important topic, which is why I wanted to have everybody on today to talk about it with you guys. And I can't wait for you guys to hear from our speakers because they have some really exciting things to share with you guys. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, tell them who you are, kind of what you do, give us a little spiel, tell us about, I think all of you have a free gift. If you have a free gift, tell them about that. And we'll be sure to put it in the show notes. I'll put the link in the chat afterwards when we're done. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Perfect.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I'm Liz Staples. I'm the host of the blogger Breakthrough Summit. Faith Mariah. I don't know why in my head you're Mariah, but you're Faith Mariah.
It's confusing. I go by Faith too, but I'm like Faith Mariah on the internet. I don't know.
Yeah, has very kindly spoken at before. Which the summit is really aimed at helping bloggers and online business owners like earn more with doing less and taking things off their plate than adding to it and being more efficient and smart with the way they go about running an online blog or business.
I'll tell you guys too, I was so excited when I saw Liz had signed up because I speak at a lot of events and do a lot of different things and work with a lot of people, but your summit is always one of the easiest, most well-run, organized ones. And so I was like super excited when I saw you. And I remember talking to you and you were like, yeah, I don't even have like a team. I do it all myself. And that like blew my mind. I don't know if you're still doing that, but I was like, damn, I remember thinking like, she must be so organized. I can't believe that.
Parts of my business the summit is particularly organized. And I have had VA help me in the past, but I wanted to say, based on what you said, there's nothing like having a VA to truly like see how clear or confusing your stuff is, because you look at something and it makes perfect sense, but having that outside perspective, like there's nothing like having a VA to help you actually like have clear understanding.
Or like when you try to explain it to them and it like, you're like, as you're saying it, you're like, this is ridiculous, stupid way I'm doing this. Like it's like you start realizing like, oh, why do I do this? Yeah, totally. Well, I can't wait to pick all your brain about all of the things. Do you have a free gift you're promoting for them?
I mean, I have lots.
I don't want to put you on the spot. You don't have to.
I mean, I have lots of free gifts, but I mean, this is an audience of business owners. So, I mean, applications to the next summit are open. Let's throw that out there.
Oh, yeah. You guys should definitely work with Liz, speaking her summit. It's for bloggers, right?
Yeah, bloggers online, but every year they're like, this is really relevant just to my business. So yeah, it does aim at bloggers so online businesses that are creating content in the form of like a blog, but it ends up being a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah. And if you guys know anybody, send them Liz's way. Let's help her out because recruiting speakers, that's not an easy game. So let's help her out with the speaker game. Okay. Well, I'm excited to talk to you. Latrice, you want to go next?
Sure. So I'm Latrice Claiborne. I am a tech and automation strategist. Basically, I help you take the mess, the whole hodgepodge of everything in the junk drawer, get it out, organize it, and streamline how you run and how you work and earn in your business.
Oh my God.
I am currently on maternity leave and I'm still getting paid. And my team is still able to run without me because I'm able to hang out and just hold my baby and play with my kids.
That's where you know your systems are like solid. I love your junk drawer analogy because my boyfriend Matt always makes fun of me because he calls it my it's like the death drawer where like things go to die. It's like my little hoarding nest in there.
But everything is in there that you need. Screwdriver,
I might need it someday. We have to keep it in the little hoarding nest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what about you, Carrie?
Yeah, so I'm Carrie Wolf. I'm a retired military spouse turned entrepreneur, and I own Wolf Den Professional Solutions. I am an implementer and operations expert. I specialize in streamlining your processes, optimizing your operations, looking at your data and your KPIs and giving you the story of what your data is saying about your business. A lot of times when my clients come to me, they don't have ducks in a row. They've got squirrels and they're at a rave and it's just a hot mess back there. And, I just love to jump in and start straightening things out. It's kind of my nerdy happy place is straightening up their mess, writing out their SOPs and their processes, and really just jumping in.
Yeah, awesome. Do you have a free thing you want to promote or anything you want to promote? Anything at all?
I do. I've got an ebook for your group. It's called Streamline Your Business Processes Using SOPs. It's the definitive guide why writing SOPs doesn't have to suck.
You guys have to go get that because SOPs are like critical.
They are the lifeblood of your business. And so this takes you through the entire process. It explains what they are, how you can get started, and gives you some templates and some examples to get you started on documenting your processes.
I love it. Yeah, you guys have to go grab that. And then what about you, Latrice? Do you have anything you want to promote? Any freebies? Anything you want to shout out? Projects we need to know about?
So I'm more on the tech side of things. I'm a tech nerd. And so for a lot of people, they think that their business is as automated as it can be. So I have an automation quiz. It's automation-quiz.com. Super easy. And you can go there and actually take the quiz to see how automated your business actually is. And it also helps you it brings new things to you that you didn't know you can automate. The quiz will ask you things and people are like, oh, didn't know I can automate that. No, that's not automated. So it helps you to see how automated your business actually is at the end.
Oh my gosh, you guys have to go get that. That sounds amazing. I am really curious to hear from you guys. Obviously, you guys are all experts in this area, and I'm so excited to talk to you because I know this is an area a lot of online business owners struggle with. We have there's so many different pieces to manage, and there's content creation, and there's sales, and there's customer service, and there's delivery. And I really think the key to being able to do all of it and do it well and grow it is the systems. I'm curious to hear from you guys. If people are listening to this is a thought that I've had before, and it's that systems and business operation is boring. I don't want to do it. I'm bad at it. I'm a creative. This was my story. I was like, I'm a free spirit, and I left my 9 to 5 like to not have to do this, and like I'm not going to track data, and I'm just gonna be a spiritual, creative, I don't know, wild child. And I really rebelled against systems for so long. Is this something you guys hear from online business owners? And what's kind of your reply to people that have that thought process about why should they start considering systems? And I would love to hear your guys' kind of thoughts on that whole line of thinking.
I'd say I agree with a lot of it.
Yeah.
But so like, this is actually something, when I was telling my email list about this, my subject line was, I hate to set them up, but I love to watch them work. Right? Because do I love bookkeeping? No. Do I love to see, hey, how close am I to my income goal for the year? And how much do I get to pay myself and all this stuff? Yes. So it's kind of, I don't always love the actual setup. And the one area I've really got to improve upon is documenting and SOPs. I literally left an SOP training to come to the live so that I could do better SOPs. But like the payoff for them is kind of just reminding myself that like, hey, do this once. You might have to go tweak it here and there, but it pays off in all the things you don't have to try to keep in your brain, and in the results that you'll get without having to just constantly be like working at it.
That's such a good, useful thought. I think I loved you said, I hate to set them up, but I love to watch them work. And I think that is like really at the bottom of like creating systems is like, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're a pain to set up also. Like they take time. I have a million things going on. It always feels like, like I don't want to take the time to do this. A lot of times I don't want to take the time to tell the team how to do things. I'm just like, I'll just do it myself. It's faster. Right. But it's a very short-sighted way of doing business because it's maybe faster in that moment, but then I'm going to have to do it every time that needs to be done. And so is it actually saving you time, right? And so it might be like, I don't want to take the time to write out the steps on the SOP. I tell people to solopreneurs to write out SOPs for themselves to follow. Because I'm like, you don't want to be figuring out, how do I do this? Or how should I do this? Or where's the thing in Kajabi? Or where's the It's like, you want to have an exact process you just follow every time. You don't have to think about it. You just follow your template. You follow your step-by-step guide. You make it super simple. And it frees up your brain power. And I think taking the time to write all that out in the moment can feel annoying when you're a solopreneur. You're like, I don't want to make a guide. Like, I know I'll remember like that. I have the worst memory on earth and I'll still tell myself like, I'll remember. Right.
Well,
but
I think that's really important too, when it's something that you don't do on a regular basis, like if it's a quarterly activity or just monthly, how long are you going to sit there and try to remember, how did I do this last time? Why didn't I write it down then? It's, you just waste your time, and it can really make things go so much easier if you just write it down. Write it down.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. And what about you, Latrice? Do you have any thoughts for people that are like, I'm a free spirit. I got into business to get out of the 9-to-5 game. I'm not trying to make another job for myself. Like, what advice would you give someone about how to stay in that mindset to start implementing systems?
So I work with a lot of different business owners, and some of them I've watched some of them kind of start small, and it was something that was like, oh, okay, I'm making okay money. And then they get this one opportunity that just catapults them to the next level, and they have no systems in place and they're not ready. So I had one client who went on Good Morning America. She did not have stuff in place. She did not have anything in place that she needed for the traffic she was going to get to her website. I'm like, oh my gosh, why was this not a thing that was discussed? You have all these leads coming to your website. You have all these people Googling you. You've got these people purchasing your book. You have all these things happening. And I'm like, and this was just like something that you and your PR person talked about. And you didn't think to say, hey, I'm going to be on Good Morning America. Things about to get crazy. I've had a client who had lost a loved one, and she just could not get it together. Nobody was expecting her to get it together. She couldn't get it together to come back, but there were no systems. So she didn't expect this person to just die all of a sudden. What was she supposed to do? And I think sometimes as business owners, we kind of think we're invincible, and we sometimes are like, the worst thing that can happen is this. But is it really going to happen? Nah.
Especially women. We're like, I'll just do it all. Like, nobody help me. Like, I got it.
Nothing's ever going to happen to me. Nothing's ever going to happen to anybody I love. I mean, that could happen, but really it's not going to happen. So we kind of believe that our business is invincible, but we don't have the foundation. We don't have the foundation in order. And so we're building on this cracked foundation. And so our building is kind of leaning a little bit, but as long as, I can put something there to hold it up, it'll be okay. So oftentimes I tell people, even if it's just something simple, it doesn't have to even be big and major and I'll have all this pomp and circumstance. Record a Loom video. Here is how I send an invoice. Here is a Loom video. Create a Google Doc and have all of your Loom videos listed, the links to all of them at the most basic level. At least do that. You're doing the task anyway. Record a Loom video if you're doing it. Doesn't have to be anything extra, but you can't believe that this business is built in a way that nothing can come and nothing can tarnish anything that I've created. But when we have our hand in everything and we don't have systems, we actually really don't have a business. If something could happen and take everything away from you in an instant, we don't have a business built on a solid foundation. So at the most basic level, just record Loom videos. That's
a good tip, y'all. Everybody go sign up for a Loom account.
Well, with the Loom, you can, record it. Your VA can transcribe that into an SOP, or your operations manager can break it down step by step. If it's something that you always do and you're tired of doing it, that's exactly it. Just record a Loom video and hand it over.
And
A
Loom
lot of our
transcribes now. They've
SOPs
got the AI. So
A lot of
I
our
have a
SOPs
transcriber
are
for
the
you.
Loom videos too. So we'll just watch them on like 2 double speed, right? And it's like somebody, if something, God forbid, like were to happen and you needed someone to step in, if you have those videos, even if you don't, if that's all you have, that somebody can watch those and figure out how to do it. So I do think that's a really, really good point and a really, really, really valuable tip. I want to ask you guys, because y'all are like a little nerdy about the system stuff, right? I've got to know, what's like your favorite thing you're nerding out on right now? What's like your favorite little app or little trick, or like what's your favorite little thing you've been messing with lately? I've been on Notion. So I made this database in Notion. It's in the mastermind, but I use it all the time. I'm a huge nerd about it. I'm going to mute. Somebody's dog is barking. Can you mute?
So sorry. I kicked him out of the room and they're going nuts.
No, it's okay. It's just, I don't want to have to edit it out of the pod.
Let me see if I can make that stop.
You're all good. I have a really needy rescue dog, so I totally understand. I made a Notion dashboard that's for all my ideas, and it's a database, and then I can tag it if it's like a podcast idea, an email idea, an idea for next quarter, a product idea, and it actually links on my phone. So instead of having, I used to have an Apple Notes that was like, you want to talk about a junk drawer? My Apple Notes app is like the ultimate digital junk drawer.
Guilty.
Holy cow. I have so much stuff in there and none of it is organized. None of it is tagged. I would just be like, oh, let me write this down so I don't forget. And it's like, yeah, it's written down, but it's now in a nest of like 1,000 other notes. Like, do you think when I plan next quarter, I'm going to go to reference that? It's like, where I call it like where ideas go to die, right? So now I've like made myself like the notes app is only for like to-do lists, for things that are like today, like that I'm looking at or need to remember. But for like ideas of things next week, things next month, things next year, all that goes in the Notion board and it's all tagged. And it's just made such a big difference in my like brain thinking. You guys have anything like that that you use all the time, or you're like, I would die without this thing?
ClickUp.
Yeah, ClickUp. That's what I was just gonna say.
Okay, you guys got to tell me like the ClickUp. Why do you love ClickUp? Why is that your baby? Why is that your? Or there's so many different ones. I feel like, why is that the one? Sell me on ClickUp, everybody.
Because I'm not the tech expert, I'm gonna come at this from a non like tech expert perspective, because I'll leave that to Latrice. But ClickUp can be really anything. So I tried ClickUp years ago and I moved away from it, and then I took the time to actually really learn it well. And I actually was part of Layla Pomper, who is a great ClickUp expert as well, kind of setting up in sort of the same way that she teaches, made a big difference for me. So a couple of the things that like were just huge like game changers for me is I have a list of just recurring tasks.
Yes.
And they're all in one place, you know, and it's everything from, hey, respond to all the customer things Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to, hey, quarterly taxes are due X date, whatever. And then also I've got hey, these are the things we're working on during this period. Like, these are the tasks that need to happen during this month or quarter or whatever. And automations. I've been automating. So you said like my speaker stuff was, you know, easy to do with the summit. It's all automated in ClickUp.
Yeah, it's all well organized. Yeah, I was like and I can tell. It's funny because I can tell. We do a lot of events. I can tell who has a system and who's like winging it. Like, you can tell. And it's like Liz's stuff is always like boom, 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 boom. Like, everything is done, everything you need, everything's on time. It's like all very clear. And so I knew that about you. I feel like before even talking to you, that you had really, really good systems just from working with you, because you can tell the speakers that are just like winging it and just kind of sending stuff and like doing it the day of maybe, and the people that have the system and the process and it's all scheduled and planned ahead of time. Not that it doesn't work, right? I'm always like, you guys got to start where you are. I love that you said that though about the reoccurring tasks. I always tell my team I have ADHD and my memory is the worst, right? And I have, like Megan was saying in the chat, I have that like thought of like, oh, I'll remember. But I always tell my team, I'm like, nothing can live in Faith's brain. I'm like, it is not safe here. Like, it all has to be, we use Asana. So I'm like, it all has to be in Asana, period.
Yeah, it all gets
I just go on every day and do my list. They put things for me. I put things for myself. It's all in one place. It's all scheduled. And I can see what I have to do the next day or the next week or the next month. And it is a game changer because I don't have to spend any mental energy thinking, what should I do next? what do I need to do today? I don't have to any of that thought. I just like sit down and do my work and can leave the business, which it wasn't definitely not always that way. So I do think any task organizer, right? Oh, I don't know. Does ClickUp do anything? I don't really fully understand what ClickUp is. I'm imagining it's Asana.
I used to use Asana. I say if Trello and Asana decided to have a baby and decided to reach its fullest potential, it would be ClickUp.
Okay.
And that is literally brilliant.
What ClickUp is.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, but I'll say, because you mentioned having ADHD, I have self-diagnosed ADHD. I know I have it. I have members of my family who have it, and I'm the same. I'm like, oh, I got it. Cool. I know. So part of the reason I use ClickUp is because I have ADHD. I can get and because I like tech, I will find a reason to pick a new tool or to learn a new thing or waste time getting hyper fixated on some shiny object that I saw somebody create a TikTok about. And ClickUp keeps me from doing that, because my first question is, when I see another tool, I'm like, but can ClickUp do this? Okay, so get back to ClickUp. All right, well, can ClickUp do it? Why are you over there? Stop wasting time. ClickUp literally does all of that. The boards, all the boards, the Trello boards, to organizing things kind of like how Airtable does, to like everything. You do it in ClickUp. And I'm like, oh, I don't need to look for a Google Doc. It's just embedded inside my ClickUp view. I don't need to go and my dashboard. I can make my dashboard in ClickUp. It's fun with little GIFs and all that. I can do whatever I want to do in ClickUp. So it keeps me focused and from like getting shiny object syndrome and squirrel, I'm gone off to the next thing. Like, no, ClickUp.
That's a really, really great point. I have a follow-up for you, but I want to get to Carrie. Carrie, do you have any favorite thing that you love using, or you're like, I would die without this thing in my business, or like everybody needs this?
For me, it's Zapier.
Oh, okay. Tell me Zapier. Yeah. Tell me what we're doing with Zapier.
Oh my goodness. I use it for all my clients. I use it for myself. I had one client, she would do a 3-day in-person conference. And so, sorry, I'm a hand talker. So I automated everything, like registration forms, pre-survey responses, profile pictures, getting them into the Facebook pop-up group, like everything. Some of our Zaps had literally 10 or more steps. And it just made the entire process so seamless. Like all they had to do was buy their ticket and fill out their registration form. We were getting Slacks that somebody had registered for the event. They were getting tagged in Kajabi as they needed to be. If they were new to our Kajabi system, then a profile was created for them and then tagged them. They were getting all the forms they needed. It was just so seamless.
That's amazing, yeah.
You know, for myself, I'm in a lot of Slack workspaces. And one week I did the math for how long I spent changing my status in Slack or pausing notifications because I was in a meeting. I was losing 50 hours a year just updating my Slack workspaces to show that I was in a meeting and unavailable. And that's 50 hours I could be billing a client. So I automated a lot of that with Slack. And not with Slack, with Zapier.
Zapier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would be lost without my Zaps.
Yeah. And just for people that haven't used Zap, it's an interesting program because it kind of will connect different things together. Like you can connect like Slack can talk to Kajabi, and Kajabi can talk to Airtable, or like we'll have certain things where it's like when people join the mastermind, like add them to like a spreadsheet or stuff like that. So it's a really interesting program. Yeah. That can connect a lot of different programs together and kind of make them talk to each other, for lack of better explaining. I'm curious to hear from you guys. I feel like it's a fine line between kind of being disorganized and having no systems. And then on the other side, I'll see people that spend a ton of time creating like super detailed SOPs and learning new systems and putting everything into like a new program. And it can almost become like, I loved how you said that, Latrice, about the shiny object. It can become like almost like a way of procrastinating for some people. And so I would love to hear your guys' kind of recommendations of how do people create these systems and actually make them so they save time and they're productive versus either just not having them or like going way overboard and spending way too much time making them. And I'll add one more thing. I always tell people, like, your systems kind of need to be at the level your business is at. If you're just one person and you don't have a team, you probably don't need the kind of systems that someone that has 30 employees has, right? And so how do people find that like level of appropriateness of systems? You guys have any advice?
I think a lot of times. Oh, go ahead.
No, you start. I started last.
I would say I think a lot of the time it happens more because of social media and TikTok and stuff like that. So I think if you eliminate peeking over the fence syndrome, a lot of times you're very content with what you have. And it's when experts get online and they're like, the best email marketing automation system is, you need this today. And then you're like,
anybody talking in that voice, you guys just run away.
And I'm like, who told you to do that? You were using Flowdesk and it was working for you as a solopreneur by yourself. Somebody told you needed this crazy system with all these funnels and all these bells and whistles. You might not want to have a $1 million business. You don't want to have a 7-figure business. You just want to make 200. That's what you want to make, and that's fine for you. So if we focus on staying in our own lane and not just grabbing everything every single self-proclaimed expert tells us to grab, we would actually stay focused a lot more and not run to so many different things. I had a call with someone not too long ago. It was like early July before my maternity leave started. And she literally was like coming to me for a consultation because she needed all of this stuff in her business. And she told me the tech stack she had and everything she had going on. It was just her by herself. She told me how much she made. She told me all these details. And I was like, yeah, you don't need me. Like, and she was like, well, I just feel like I'm missing out. Like I need more. Like there could be more for me to do. Or you have a low tech, you're low tech. You have a nice streamlined process and system. There's no stress. You're not concerned about anything. You're able to make money without you being present in the business all the time. What do you want me to just give you more stuff that's not going to make anything better for you? It's actually just increasing your expenses and you don't even have a team to keep up with these tools. So I don't know who told you needed all these things, but just stick with what you got because it really is actually working. And so if we actually focused on what works for us in our business, because it's not any cookie cutter process, what works for us, we wouldn't get so distracted with a million other tools.
I want to highlight that for a second because I think that's so important. And we teach that in my mastermind and work with clients on that all the time. And I think one of the most difficult things for people to do when they decide to be an entrepreneur is like, you have to learn to like evaluate your business and make decisions and think for yourself. And a lot of people are like, well, they must know more than me, or this person, they're doing this and that, and I should be doing that. And it's really, you can't do that as an entrepreneur. You really have to be in your own lane, like Latrice said, and be like, where is our business at? What's the next step for me, for us? And you cannot be following what other people are doing. It really can take you down a weird rabbit hole. I've done it. Like some of the worst mistakes I've ever made was like, I'm like, I don't know how to do this next step, or I don't know how to scale. Let me pay somebody a bunch of money to tell me what to do. And then I do what they tell me. And the next thing I know, I'm like, this isn't even what I wanted. Like, how did we even get here? Like, what did we even spend the last 3 months doing? And the best thing I think is like what Teresa's saying, stay in your own lane, be like, what is my goal? It's laser focused. Like, what is my goal? What is the simplest, easiest way to get there without the distractions, right? Without looking around at what everyone else is doing. Liz, what were you going to say? Because you were
really building on what you guys both said. So like, and I'll say this because I was guilty of this in the past. Nothing will slow down your progress as a business owner faster than constantly switching tools and then having to go fix all the things that broke because you kept switching tools.
I feel personally attacked, Liz. Rude.
I mean, I've been guilty of it.
On my own show, y'all.
Like, I've been guilty of it too. And like you said, it's, stay in your own lane because, and I've done this too, like way back early self-employment days, I was freelance writing and I was like, well, I don't really like, freelance writing. I saw someone else with the course and I was like, I want that success. And then I became a Pinterest manager and I was like, you know what? I actually don't like working with clients. So it was like, why am I doing this? Right. So like you see someone else's success and you want it, but in reality, it's not what you actually want. And so staying in your own lane, picking a tool that works for you. And sometimes you do need to switch, but I would be so cautious and so like really, really ask yourself if you need to switch, because it will slow you down.
Yeah, that's
And
a good thought too.
yeah, so
all of these things can work, right? Like I have a friend that runs a great business and is super organized, and she does like everything in Excel. She doesn't use Asana or any of that. They have like deadlines and Asana, and she's like a wizard at Excel, right? And I'm not saying use Excel, but I'm just saying any of this stuff can work.
Yeah.
Right. And so whether it's ClickUp or Asana, I think people also really get in their head about like there's a perfect tool. it's like the hunt for the like perfect little tool in the rough, and like this is gonna like change everything and make everything the thing. And it's like it's probably not that, right? And then don't spend too much time researching, but people will go down these rabbit holes of like researching like Asana or ClickUp or what should be this, should I do that, how should I do it, and they spend all this time researching. But I'm like, in 6 months there might be something totally new and totally different that all of us are going to be on anyway. And so I've been in this space a long time. Like you can research all you want, and in 6 months all your research is going to be irrelevant because everything's going to be different. So do
kind of update, and nothing is, like the thing that you were like, oh, it doesn't do this. Well, it does that now, like
yeah. Or it's like, oh, this was expensive. Well, now it's cheaper. Or like, oh, they do have a free plan now. It's like all going to be different in like a few months. And so don't feel like, oh, I have to get it perfect. It's like, pick something, see how it goes. If you're going to move, be very thoughtful about that, right? I think that's very good advice. Like if you're going to move, be like, what are my reasons for actually moving? Is this actually doing something like Latrice said that I can't already do in ClickUp or I can't already do in Asana? And do I actually need to do that? And I would say, pick something, just commit to using it, and then be very, very thoughtful when you do move. There might be good reasons to move in the future, right? Like a year from now, we might see Latrice, she might just be like, oh no, it's not ClickUp, it's this new thing is the thing, right? And that's how the space often is, right? Just make sure that you guys like your reasons for switching is what I would say.
That's one of the reasons I have such a love-hate relationship with AppSumo.
I'm into AppSumo lately. I feel like I go through little AppSumo benders. Tell everybody what AppSumo is.
Somebody delete my AppSumo account, please. Somebody kick me off of it, please.
Somebody tell AppSumo what it is. I
finally got my addiction under control.
No, don't get me wrong. I have grabbed some really great stuff on AppSumo. Like when Big View goes on there, I snatch that up. When Deposit Photos has a code, I snatch it up. But then some of the stuff, it's like, and especially when your client is an AppSumo junkie, and you get the Slack. What if
I'm the client?
What if we grab this? Can we like get rid of these other programs? And I'm like, no, because one, you've already paid for the other ones for a year, and two, this has got less than half the features than what we're using right now.
Yeah,
it's brand new. Never use a new tool. I'm always like, you guys can be the guinea pigs. I'll sit back and wait and watch all the glitches and watch you get mad when everything fails.
Yeah,
I'll wait like a year.
Latrice, can you tell everybody what AppSumo is, just for people that don't know?
AppSumo is a problem that my assistant has now not allowed me to purchase anything. I'm banning you from buying anything else from AppSumo. You literally can go there, and so they'll have software companies who will go and put their app will be on AppSumo. They'll have license numbers, and you can go in and get access to something for a lifetime plan. $29, $69. It's always something inexpensive. I have
a shiny object black hole. Don't go on.
Does anyone else have to get permission from their VA before they buy a new AppSumo?
I'm gonna get banned from AppSumo.
I'm banned. She hasn't looked at the permission yet. I literally haven't purchased anything from AppSumo in 1 year because I am a reformed AppSumo addict, and
AppSumo
token to give you
is not letting me.
As soon as that email comes through with the newest have to get it AppSumo things, I'm like, oh my gosh. How many messages am I going to get? Can we switch to this? Or what do you think about this program? And I'm like, and I just stop. You don't need to have all of them just because they're cheap.
There's going to be some really big ones though. Some really big, really great ones from AppSumo that you just kind of got to use your wisdom and use some sense and read it like, oh, this looks like it could really be promising. There's one summit platform that I use for summits, for webinars, all that. And I got it like 4 years ago, and now
Summit.
No, I got AirMeet.
Oh, I also have Air Meet. I have both Hey Summit and Air Meet.
Air Meet was like $49 or $69. And now Air Meet is well over $1,000 a month for anybody to use it. And I was like, and it's amazing. Every time I use it, people are like, what platform is this? I've never used this before. It's so fun. It's so great. And I'm like, okay, see, a good AppSumo purchase. Finally,
all paid off. It was worth it.
Finally paid off.
Yeah. Hey Summit, Air Meet, Phrase. Like these are all AppSumo things that I had.
Will tell you guys, if we have any other ADHD, like impulsy people listening, I am an impulse shopper and I also go on AppSumo all the time. And I'm like looking around. And so I end up buying things. And a lot of them have refund policies. And I'll tell you guys, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I am not only am I AppSumo junkie, I also will return stuff all the time. So we'll get it and I'll be like, let's try it and I'll like put the date of like, you know, when we can get the refund by that date. And if I'm like, if it isn't really something we really need for the business that we're actually going to implement, I will return it because otherwise I'm going to be like I call it digital hoarding. It's like, it's going to go in the digital junk drawer, just like at my house with my little digital hoarding drawer. Right. And I'm like, I don't need more stuff in the digital hoarding drawer. And so I think that's a good tip too, is like, don't be a digital hoarder. Like keep your stuff simple. Like if you can just like simplify things, don't be looking at new things all the time. Most of the new things, like you're saying, there's a lot of glitches on there. There's a lot of new things that you're like, oh, this sounds perfect. But then you get in there and it doesn't really have the features or it doesn't really work how you thought. You know, you'll end up wasting a lot of time, like learning and messing with that software, returning it. It's just for most people that are just starting. I always say, like, if you're a solopreneur or you're someone with, you know, maybe a VA helping you out, your time is so valuable. Right. So you've got to think, if you're a solopreneur, you're the only employee in your business, the only employee your business has. You need to look at the shit you're doing and be like, would I actually pay a VA $30-$40 an hour to do this, to be browsing AppSumo and like looking at the things and like testing it? And it's like, if you wouldn't pay a VA to do that, you should not be spending your time doing that. Right.
Well, now you're attacking me.
Yeah, and I have to get you back because you came for me. What tips do you guys have for just starting simple? I think one of the themes of this conversation seems to be like, keep your tech simple. Don't like go for the biggest, most fancy stuff. Don't go for shiny things. Like, what is a simple system? I guess ClickUp, right? Is that the deal, Latrice? And how should they start? What's like a simple place to get started on ClickUp?
Would you all agree? I don't feel like ClickUp is super simple. If you want to do,
it's got a learning curve on it, right?
It does have a learning curve, but also for some people, that's why some people although ClickUp has all these amazing features, I don't always recommend it to everyone, especially like if you're not into seeing like so many features that it overwhelms you.
Yeah. When I was first getting started, I started with Trello because I'm a very visual person. And so I started with Trello. And I stuck with that for the first couple of years. And then as my business grew, that's when I transitioned from Trello to Asana. And I'm like, I'm an Asana junkie right now. I love it.
Me too.
I've used ClickUp with other clients. You know, when clients come to me and they have a project management system, I merge into theirs. I don't force them to change if what they have is working for them. I've used ClickUp. I love it. I've used Monday.com. That's another really robust one.
It's pretty pricey. I think for most of you guys listening, I probably wouldn't recommend. I
wouldn't recommend starting with Monday unless you are really, really needing.
If you have a team, it's like amazing. I've worked on when I used to be a VA and like help some of these bigger coaches run launches way back, like before I was a business coach or anything, and everything was on Monday. And it is really good if you have a lot of people on a project and you have a big project. But the price of it is what really deters.
It's very cost prohibitive for a lot of solopreneurs. Asana does a lot. Even with just their free account, you can do a lot. And then
I'm on their free account. Me and my team run everything on.
I'm on their free too. Account. But every so often when you need some of those premium features, you can like reactivate it and put the note on your calendar to cancel before you're.
She's like, this is like a Faith Mariah tip. She's like a shark. I'm like,
I'm all about trying the free trials, and I always put a note on my calendar as soon as I sign up, like 2 days before, because I know it's probably going to get moved. So I buffer it by a couple of days to cancel the subscription so I don't get charged. But yeah, I think when you're just starting, Trello is good. Asana is good. Those are really easy ones to get a grasp on.
I would say too, like the place I tell people to start is kind of like what Liz said, was like the first thing I would do is pick something, either Asana or ClickUp or whatever you want, some kind of to-do list, kind of task management app, and make sure your reoccurring tasks are in there. So I have like daily tasks, weekly tasks, monthly tasks, quarterly, yearly. I would just start with that, like just setting that up, right? And then what I do with clients after that, we get their reoccurring tasks set up. We'll make different boards in Asana for different kind of projects. So if you have a podcast you want to schedule out, we do quarterly planning in my mastermind. So it's 90 days. So it's like if you want to plan out your launch for the next 90 days or your lead gen strategy for the next 90 days, you can make a board in there and assign those tasks with dates to yourself. And then when you go on there, it ends up generating like one master to-do list basically for the day. That's like, here's all the shit you got to do this week. Here's all the stuff that's due today. And so I would just recommend people start just managing your tasks, right? And assigning tasks to yourself. And it also will give you experience for onboarding a VA. If you're not able to manage like and assign tasks to yourself and break up your project into tasks to assign, you're going to have a very hard time managing people because you don't understand how to break up your tasks and assign them and give them dates. And so that's kind of my advice of, I guess, where I would tell people to start. And then I guess from there, maybe building out some really basic SOPs, like super basic, like just like
I would add to that, whatever you choose, learn the tool. Like take the time, watch the setup tutorials. It'll make a huge difference in how much you like it, how effective it is.
That's a great tip. Say that again, Liz. That's a really good tip.
Whatever tool you use, learn it. Because I tried ClickUp and I went back to it once I actually learned it. Watch the setup tutorials, the videos, like Latrice said, hey, can the tool I'm already using do this? Let me go look and find out and learn how. It makes a huge difference in how much you like the tool, how efficient you are, how effective it is.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would do is depending on what tool you're using. So ClickUp does everything. It's like the WordPress of project management. It's a learning curve.
I love that analogy. That's perfect.
Very good analogy.
Yes, that's
like
perfect.
It can do a lot, and I'm not on the free plan. You can do a ton on the free plan. I use some paid plan automation stuff. But like you've got to take the time to actually learn it. And I would say to help yourself in the future, not just adding recurring tasks, but task templates.
Yes.
Are hugely helpful.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about templates. You guys use templates in your business?
I use them 100%, especially in Asana. So on the free plan, you don't get access to template tasks, but I create a task card with everything assigned, and I just put at the top, like the stop sign emoji, template card, duplicate. And we just duplicate it from there. And that's our workaround. But yeah, templates 100%.
Yeah, we use a ton in my business too, especially just with like customer service emails. A really good place to start with a system is y'all's inbox. When you're managing your own inbox, like you don't need to write out a response to every single person because generally you're getting kind of the same 20 questions ish, right? And so it's like, where's my password? Or I bought this, I need access, or whatever your questions are. But just write those emails out. You'll have the templates. And then you've also created a easy way for a VA to step in and help you. Like with what Latrice was saying, like if something ever happens and you're like, man, I like can't be in the inbox, I need to hire help. It's going to be a lot better for a VA trying to do your inbox if you're like, and I have all the templates here organized of how I respond to these emails. And I have like our most common questions already typed out how I want them responded to. Like it's going to be just so much easier. And so that's another place I would advise people to start if you don't have any systems in your business at all, is like creating some kind of system for creating email templates, and how you manage your inbox can save you a ton of time, especially if you're a solopreneur doing it all on your own.
So two things. Since you're talking about inbox, one tool that I love, 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 especially if you have a team, even if you're by yourself, but especially if you have a team, Missive. The Missive app for managing your team and managing your inbox, it will change.
I've never heard of that one. You got to tell
I've
me,
never heard
what
of that
is
one
that?
either.
Missive will change your life. It is amazing.
I
So
think I've heard of
Missive,
it.
if you ever are like, okay, I have this inbox, I've got to ask this question a million times. I don't want to give somebody access to my inbox. Like, I don't want them to be able to have my Google Business login and then just through LastPass and then log in whatever they want.
God, my team could like destroy my whole life, but
That's
they
for a
both
lot
worked
of
for me for
people. They're
years.
like-
They're like people I really, really love and trust. But
Because,
I'm like,
like,
God,
the
if I ever
reality
crossed them, they could destroy
if they
my
wanted
life.
to go and say, hey, ClickUp or hey, Asana, we no longer want this account, and Asana were to send you an email saying, confirm that you no longer want this account, they just go in your inbox and click it and then delete everything. So they could change their passwords by sending the email. So everything, people are often like, I don't want everybody to have access to my account. Especially if they're like newish and it's somebody you found online or something. So the Missive app is an amazing app that allows you to have multiple inboxes in your one inbox. So my assistant, me and her have become extremely close now. So I trust her. So she has access to everything. She has access to the all mail folder. She sees everything. Another team member has access to only what we give her, all in the same inbox. So my assistant can go in and she can assign things to other people in the team inside the folders from my inbox, from just one inbox. So we no longer need an operations inbox, an admin inbox, info inbox, a support. We literally just have a bunch of aliases for one email address. We pay for one email account, the little $6 a month that Google charges. And we have a million aliases. And there's automations inside of Missive that say, if someone emails operations, put this email in the operations folder that this person has access to. If someone emails customer support, put this in the customer support that only customer support people have access to. You can do all of that. And then if there's a question, we can chat as a team. There's a chat attached to the email. So we get to chat. Hey, here's questions about this email. What do you think? And it goes into each person's inbox. So it's kind of like Slack and Gmail and Asana all combined in one. And we can do all of those things around just emails.
Yeah.
It makes things, I mean, all the templates, we can put the templates in. They can send templates. If there's a client that emails me and I'm like, okay, I don't remember what this is in reference to. I click on their name. It pulls up all the emails on the side that I've had from this person without me searching for a thing. Missive's features are endless. And if you have a team, I'm always like, Missive.
It sounds like if you guys got inbox, like if you have a big inbox.
Yeah.
Where you're getting
I feel like that's the next rabbit hole I'm jumping down when we are done here today.
Oh, goodness.
It's
I'm
amazing.
gonna know now. I'm gonna go off and like after we went on that whole rant about not getting new things, I'm like, oh.
Wait a
If you
minute.
don't have a team though, the Gmail aliases and automations, like like that can be a huge game changer if you're not doing that already.
And especially all of the filters and folder feature in your Gmail.
Oh god,
that is huge.
Learn your email.
Yeah,
whatever service provider.
learn whatever email you're on. And all of these programs too do have like great trainings. Like I know Asana has like a whole like free certification you can even like take on there. But like Liz was saying, like take the time to learn it. The same with your email. Like make sure you know how to use the features in your email and that you have things for tagging and you have like starting to set that stuff up where you already are, I think is a really great move. And definitely like email is a time suck when you're a solopreneur. So you'd want to have like a really streamlined system, especially as you scale up, especially if you're going to have any kind of business with volume, right? If you are a coach when you have like a few clients, like that's different. But if you're going to be doing like lots and lots of sales or you're going to have a membership someday, like you're going to have volume in that inbox. You need to set up a system where you're going to be able to handle the volume. Like, so what Latrice was saying earlier, if you do get on Good Morning America, you're not like, oh shit, like everything goes into one inbox and I don't know how to do tagging and I don't have any filters and I don't have any templates. It's like, start setting that stuff up so that when you get your break, right, there's always going to be a break for everybody. I really believe that if you show up and you're dedicated, you keep doing your work, you keep networking and connecting with people, you'll get a break eventually. And you want to have those systems in place to support that. This has been such a great conversation. I really, really appreciate you guys like taking the time and coming here and sharing so much value with the audience. I would love for you guys to just go around one more time for anybody that just joined and just say really quick who you are. Tell us where we can stalk you. Where should they go be obsessed with you? Where's the best places to find you? And then anything else you guys want to promote real quick. I'd love to hear from each of you before we sign off. Everybody's shy now. Self-promo time.
I went first to start. I'll go first again. I'm Liz Stapleton. I'm host of the Blogger Breakthrough Summit. It's an annual virtual summit. It happens at the beginning of every year that helps bloggers spend less time blogging and making more money so they can stress less, enjoy why they started blogging in the first place. And bloggerbreakthrough.com is where you can find me. I'm not super active on social media. I do go lurk. I just don't post a lot. So you can always reach out to me there. But
yeah, and even if you guys aren't bloggers, you really should go to Liz's summit. Do you have a wait list on the page they can get on, or they should just follow you?
You can join the newsletter, and then you'll get emails from me, and you'll be the first to know when registration opens. Since I know Faith, your audience is business owners, I will say that I do have speaker applications open right now. If you are interested in speaking and you want to get in front of bloggers of all different levels, because I do break them out that way. So just bloggerbreakthrough.com/apply.
Yeah, I can. I'm going to get the link after this and I'll put it in my mastermind too, because I have some really good people in there that would be, I have to connect you with. It'll be perfect. Latrice, you want to go?
Sure. I am Latrice Claiborne. I am a tech and automation strategist, and a wife and a homeschool mom. I forgot to mention that. Systems.
Oh my gosh.
Helped my life. I have 4 sons. So systems have really blessed my whole entire life, because this is actually the first work thing I've done all day. And this is me working early, because usually I'm homeschooling. And so this has really, really helped. So when she says, get your systems in order, like, we're actually serious, actually really, really, really do that. So I help business owners identify areas that they can streamline how they work and earn in their business. And we actually do done for you services where we automate things for you.
Okay. So if we're like, I need to hire somebody to do this, I need help, we're going to you, right? You can help people actually put systems together. That's awesome.
So we do tech in a day. That's our signature, tech in a day.
Ooh, tech in a day.
We do it in VIP day.
I love that. That's awesome. And then what about you, Carrie?
Yeah, so I'm Carrie Wolf, Wolfden Professional Solutions. You can find me on Instagram. It's Wolfden_PS, P as in Paul. I'm an operations expert and implementer, and I work with women-owned businesses getting their systems set up. A lot of times they have documents everywhere, systems running amok, and I get in there and do the implementing and the streamlining and really start documenting and get it running like a well-oiled machine. Getting your systems set up is super, super important. I was actually able to sign a new client while I was recovering from a knee replacement surgery. I was on the painkillers and everything, but I had literally no part in this. My team covered.
She's like, I was laid up. I was down for the count.
I
didn't know where I was
before the surgery, and then my team handled everything after that. And they just let me know, hey, so-and-so just signed the contract, made their deposit. We are ready to go and onboarding her while you are resting and recovering. And I thought that's pretty freaking awesome, because I had everything documented and in place. So systems are really, really important.
Yeah.
No matter what stage you are in your business, you've got to start getting your systems in place.
Yeah. Just start simple. Don't use this. I coach people, so I already know they're like going to get overwhelmed and be like, oh my God, like there's so much. And what do I do? And there's so many programs. Don't do that. I'm like, put on your CEO hat, look at your business as a business owner, right? And be like, okay, what's something that takes up a lot of time? How can I simplify it? That's all this is. It's just like looking at the areas of your business that are a time suck and being like, how can I make this simple? How can I make this easier? How can I make this faster and take less time? You just go task by task, make like a list of your top 3 time suck tasks, right? Maybe it's the inbox. Maybe it's sitting down. If you're sitting down at your desk every day, like, I don't know what to do. What should I be working on? And spending 20, 30 minutes figuring out what the heck to do. Start there with your to-do list. If you're spending all this time in the inbox, start with the email templates. Just start working on those top 3 kind of time suck things. Don't be overwhelmed by any of this. Like, we've all had to learn this stuff, and you're going to have to continue to learn new things, because if you're going to have an online business, guess what? Everything's changing all the time. So all your beautiful, nice systems you have now, like a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's all going to be outdated. So don't feel like it's like has to be perfect and it has to be like the thing. It's like, 6 months from now, we could all be saying something totally different. So give yourself some grace. Let it be easy. Thank you guys so much for being here. Go stalk all these ladies. They are amazing. They are brilliant at what they do. And I'm just so happy that I got to chat with you guys today and have you on the show. And that's it. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for having me.